Hey, people of God, we are still continuing this series about the right of the firstborn on earth and the African spirituality. Now, Nimrod had built these cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, and all these other countries that built a kingdom with the people. But the earth was flat at the time. There was the waters, or the water. There was still one river that broke into fours that surrounded the earth. There was no sea that went about the earth. These people live on one land. That one land that was elevated above the sea. And that separation. Now, when Nimrod then reigned, God gave him his power, his authority. He has the authority of the firstborn. God gave him his power, his wisdom. God opened him libraries and gave him things. He had access to things of God. He then built the cities that he built. When he was done with the cities that he built, he then began idolatry. He made himself God, elevated himself to a God standard. He took God's worship and God's glory. People were now worshiping him because of the skills that God gave him. And that, together with the mixture of idolatry, lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, together with homosexuality, and all those mixed together, and he keeps adding them up, and then he built the city, and then he built the Tower of Babel. In that Tower of Babel, all forms of these things you think they are cute today, they lived there. All sorts of sexuality, they lived there. In that city, in that Babel, where God rejected Nimrod. Then he came up with a plan that he's gonna make it to God by foot, meaning they are gonna build a city that's gonna go a skyscraper that's gonna go so high it will reach the heavens with the help of the fallen angels. And he started building that city. And then the Lord came down and then started separating the languages, giving them, confusing the language. Each and everyone had their own language, and they had to go their separate ways because they couldn't hear each other and they couldn't continue. But the Tower of Babel was already there. The foundations and some stories were high enough. And then the people on the earth started scattering all over the earth. There was confounded languages, but the false trinity of Nimrod, Semiramis, and that child, I'll get there to the next video, was already in them. They were already worshipping false gods, all of them.